Israel-Iran War Live Updates Day 9 430 killed in Iran since start of conflict. Israel strikes Isfahan site again. Iran-Israel War Day 9 Live Updates. The conflict between Israel and Iran continues to escalate as relentless attacks continued for the ninth consecutive day. An Iranian missile struck a premier research institute known for its work in life sciences and physics, causing heavy damage. The Israeli Air Force launched a new wave of airstrikes on missile facilities in central Iran as Israeli army chief warned that his country could be engaged in a prolonged campaign against Tehran. Israel's military said it struck missile launchers in Iran. At least 19 people were injured in the northern Israeli port city of Haifa after Iran launched two missile barrages. Meanwhile, Iran ruled out nuclear talks with US President Donald Trump as top diplomats from Britain, France, and Germany met with their Iranian counterpart Abbas Araghchi in Geneva. Several countries have withdrawn their embassy staff from Tehran. Trump, who has given 2 weeks' time before deciding on military action, said it would be very hard to stop Israel's strikes on Iran in order to negotiate a possible ceasefire. Meanwhile, the Indian government initiated Operation Sindhu and brought back 290 stranded Indian students, primarily from Jammu and Kashmir, from Iran. Follow live updates here. The Embassy of India in Israel has issued a strong advisory cautioning Indian nationals against a fake message circulating on social media, which falsely claims that Indian workers in Israel would be forced to return to India or face jail or fines if they register with the embassy. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi warned that direct US involvement in the conflict with Israel would be very, very dangerous for everyone, according to the Associated Press. AP. Speaking to reporters in Istanbul while en route from Geneva talks, Araghchi added that American military action would be very unfortunate. Israeli strikes in northwest Iran killed 4 Revolutionary Guards fighters, reported AFP, citing the Iranian media. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan told his counterparts from Muslim countries at the OIC meeting in Turkey that Israel was dragging the region into total disaster with its attacks on Iran. At least 430 people were killed and 3,500 were wounded in Iran since the start of the Israeli-Iranian conflict on June 13. According to Iranian media reports, citing the country's health ministry. Israeli officials said there were no injuries after a 2-story home in the northern city of Baichin was hit by an Iranian drone. Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, said it would be dangerous if the United States joined Israeli strikes on Tehran. Speaking on the sidelines of the Organization of Islamic Republic gathering in Istanbul, Araghchi said the US is involved in Israeli aggression. The Israeli military confirmed that a drone launched from Iran struck a home in the northern city of Baichin. Multiple attempts to shoot down the Shahid 136 drone were unsuccessful. Anwar Gargash, diplomatic advisor to the oil-rich UAE's President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, urged a quick end to the ongoing Israel-Iran war, saying it would bring a very difficult aftermath if it continued. Israeli medics are responding to reports of a direct drone impact in the Baichin, after sirens warning of a drone infiltration sounded in the area, according to the Times of Israel. There are no immediate reports of injuries. Drone alert sounds were activated in Israel's Arava region amid drone attacks by Iran. The Israeli military said it had downed 2 more drones, while sirens were activated in other areas, according to the Israel Defense Forces IDF. Russian President Vladimir Putin said Russia has repeatedly notified Israel that Iran has no alleged intentions of obtaining nuclear weapons, according to Russian media reports. Behnam Shahriyari, a senior IRGC Quds Force official, was killed in an overnight Israeli airstrike in western Iran. The Times of Israel quoted the Israeli military as saying, he was the leader of the Quds Forces Unit 190, responsible for the clandestine transfer of weapons to Iran's proxy groups, especially Hezbollah. The Israel Defense Forces IDF confirmed the death of Saeed Izadi, head of the Palestinian division in the IRGC Quds Force, in an overnight airstrike in the Iranian city of Qom. Izadi is believed to have facilitated financial support to Hamas for the October 7 attacks. The Israeli Air Force downed another Iranian drone, which triggered sirens in the Baichin Valley and the northern West Bank, according to Israeli media reports. Saeed Izadi, the head of the Palestinian division in the IRGC Quds Force, was killed in an Israeli strike on an apartment in the Iranian city of Qom, said Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz. The minister called it a huge achievement for Israeli intelligence and justice for the deceased Israeli civilians and hostages. Drone alert sirens sound in several communities and settlements close to the Jordanian border in the north, according to the Times of Israel, warning of further Iranian attacks. Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, arrived in Istanbul on Saturday for a meeting with Arab League diplomats to discuss Iran's escalating conflict with Israel, as per Iranian media. Reports. Israel's military said its navy hit a Hezbollah infrastructure site near the southern Lebanese city of Naqoura, a day after Israel's foreign minister warned the Lebanese armed group against entering the Iran-Israel war. The Israeli Air Force deployed its advanced Barak air defense system to intercept an Iranian unmanned aerial vehicle that entered Israeli airspace, it said on Friday. The Barak system was indigenously designed to safeguard against aerial threats, including UAVs, cruise missiles and other airborne targets. The Barak-8 system was jointly developed by India's Defence Research and Development Organization (DRDO) and Israel Aerospace Industries (IAI). Iran's Isfahan nuclear site was targeted by Israel, Iran's Fars news agency reports, adding that there is no leakage of hazardous materials. However, there was no comment from Israel Defense Forces. The Indian embassy in Iran announced that it will evacuate citizens of Nepal and Sri Lanka from Iran at the requests of their governments. Iranian media reports said 22 people had been arrested since June 13 in Qom province over their alleged ties with Israeli intelligence services. A US-based NGO, the Human Rights Activists News Agency, put the death toll in Iran at 657 people, including at least 263 civilians, citing Iranian sources and reports. Iran said Israeli strikes have killed 224 people so far, without updating it since Sunday. An Iranian missile struck the Weizmann Institute of Science in Israel, known for its work in life sciences and physics. It caused heavy damage to multiple labs on campus, although no one was killed in the strike. In the past week, since the outbreak of an aerial conflict between Iran and Israel, hundreds of American citizens have left Iran via land routes, Reuters reported, citing an internal State Department cable. As the war of words and weapons escalates between Israel and Iran, social media users have dug up an unexpected blast from the past. Old liberal, even feminist-sounding tweets by none other than Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khomeini. Yes, the same Khomeini who recently warned the United States of irreparable consequences if it joined the conflict. Iran and Israel exchanged fresh attacks early on Saturday, as the Israeli military warned of an incoming missile barrage from Iran, triggering air raid sirens in parts of the country. Israel launched attacks against missile storage and launch sites in Iran. US President Donald Trump said his own Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, was wrong when she said the US believed Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon. Meanwhile, Gabbard said her testimony was taken out of context as a way to manufacture division. Israel claimed on Saturday it has already set back Iran's presumed nuclear program by at least 2 years, after bombing several nuclear sites and killing senior scientists responsible for the program. According to the assessment we hear, we already delayed for at least 2 or 3 years the possibility for them to have a nuclear bomb, said Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Sar. At least 19 people in Israel's Haifa were wounded by an Iranian missile barrage. At least 25 people have been killed in Israel since the war began, according to Israeli authorities. In the thick of intensifying hostilities between Israel and Iran, the Indian government has initiated Operation Sindhu, a crucial mission to evacuate its nationals from West Asia. A significant milestone in this operation was achieved late on Friday, June 20, when a special flight from Mashhad, Iran, carrying 290 Indian students, primarily from Jammu and Kashmir, safely landed at the Delhi airport. US President Donald Trump said Iran had a maximum of 2 weeks to avoid possible US strikes, indicating that he could take a decision before the fortnight deadline, while dismissing European efforts to end the conflict. US President Donald Trump said Europeans were not going to be able to help end the war between Iran and Israel. Iran doesn't want to speak to Europe. They want to speak to us, he said. The Israeli Air Force said Saturday it had launched a new wave of airstrikes against missile storage and launch sites in central Iran, on the ninth day of conflict between the two countries. Latest blogs.